I think it's been interesting as an observer to the negotiating process outcomes. As MTN, we haven't been involved in the formal negotiations as such. The external events have certainly been interesting and challenging because they touch to that which interests me personally and MTN around public-private partnerships, around the fact that climate issues are actually human, social, economic issues as much as they are environmental. So it has been interesting. There's always that personal frustration that more cannot be done. Some of the outcomes around the positions in the Green Climate Fund, Canada's comments around its emissions, etc., are of concern. But nevertheless, it appears that while there were very low expectations of COP17, there certainly appears to be quite a commitment to ensure delivery in spite of some of the negotiating stand blocks. From MTN's perspective, we serve over close to about 160 million subscribers across Africa and the Middle East. These are areas that are